Hi everyone, I hope you're doing great out there, and let me tell you a story today about uncharming topic: curses, bad eye, spells, all the wrong wishing and everything what you understand and everyone under the not so gracious name curses. In the history, everything what was sent to harm enemy, harm someone, it was under this name of energetic attack. It was taking words, rituals, it was connected with emotions, and everything what I'm going to tell you today, please take it as a visionary fiction. Don't believe it without checking. And because, you know, everyone has this story in their life. At least one time you heard like, oh my God, maybe I'm under spell or cursed, or there is a series of misfortune happening. And I had many of those phone calls and asked me, am I under cursed? Am I spelled? Bad eye, are you taking off bad eyes? And you know, all these kind of things. So there is a little trap thinking that, because there is again this this thing when you think that, and just because there is something going on or somebody's life is falling apart doesn't mean exactly that. So it's a lot of times when it's so easy to blame it on the curse that it's happening. Everything that is so-called wrong wishing. So even, you know, you can yell at your own plants in the house and they will die, right? The energy, the vibration, the intention, the feelings. It has vibration, it has impact. But of course, in every culture, Egyptian, African, Polish, Ukrainian, every culture, I'm not going to name all of it, there is a culture and everybody has these stories. And just maybe 3 years ago, I was in Morocco, and early morning, like 6 o'clock, there was a woman walking around the house of someone and yelling at this house. So what do you think she was doing? I don't know. So you tell me. And there was another incident that a lady put something around her throat, the hand, said something that the tourist didn't understand, and just asked me what that was. Was it a curse? What did she do? And the feeling of it, it just wasn't feeling right. Something was off about that woman. So every culture has something, some wrongdoing, some bad wishing, and from the very, very mild form, like, you know, screaming at someone, just wishing wrong or revenging on someone, to some sort of powerful, some people say these rituals that are intentionally performed very consciously. I'm not going to tell you exactly how do you know that you are cursed, because those typical explanations like, oh, your life is falling apart, you have lines of misfortune, it's very easily it's very easy to blame on the curse everything what's happening in your life. But there are a few points that you can find out if you deal with something like a curse. First of all, there is something in your family. Someone tells stories running from generation. That's a long sort of curse that you know that by fact. So people secretly gossiping about it, you heard something. Or if it's not going through the generation, you observed it, like me in Morocco, for example. You observed someone's behavior that was off. Something was peculiar, something extraordinary that It wasn't normal to say. It was said in with a certain feeling, emotion, intentionally. Maybe there was some object accompanying that person, something like that. So that's how you know someone talks about it. These are facts, observation. Another way how you can find out about it, you intensely dreaming about peculiar scene after that someone wished you wrong. So you have nightmares, you dream about certain moments, and these dreams are very vivid usually, and you know exactly who did it. Those of you who are dreamers, who are intuitive, they will know. This knowledge comes in the form of dreaming. It may happen that some of you who experienced astral traveling, you will see this person visiting you in this astral realm, checking the impact of what happened. So there is a lot of ways that are happening in your dreams, how you can find out. So pay attention to your dreams, number 2. And number 3, and this is the one that also you have to be very careful to check. It is indeed a series of unfortunate events, true, but before you can consider it that there is something to it, again, look for those peculiarities. So for example, someone dies in every generation, someone dies the same age, more or less, the same incident, something that is also unnatural, extraordinary, it doesn't fit, something is off about this situation, or something is repetitive in your life. Here again, you have to be careful, because just about this law of similarities, and we tend to draw to ourselves certain experience over and over until we understand it's not a course. This has to be a little bit more peculiar. Something has to be off about it. A certain signs, maybe this person saying certain words and another person not knowing this person repeats those certain words. Look for anything that is odd. So these were 3 types. You have different types of courses. There probably you will find a lot in internet about, because everybody's categorizing that differently. I personally like to say about aspects of it. So the length, how strong, how long, and when it is activated. That's what I'm interested in, especially from my books. I used this concept of curse in my books. I gave it pretty a lot of space there, because this topic is repeating in my life, and I hear a lot of stories, and really extraordinary stories about what was happening in families of people, what's coming out, and these people are usually not aware of that until they are saying that, and they come to the certain conclusions. They are tracing, observing, analyzing, and then coming to a certain conclusion, like, could that be related? And we look at that sometimes together, sometimes they already know, and they asking me just for the confirmation, if what they think could be that, and we go a little bit deeper to it to check, because not every time that something peculiar is happening, it's a course. But every wrong wishing is a mild form of that, but it's short, maybe just wrong wishing, unconscious, somebody was angry, so these things are usually easier to take off. But those who are, there are people who are doing magic and are into different practices, and they do that consciously, and sometimes they even take money for it. So the length of that, it depends on the strength and the years of practice of that person, the strength, how it will impact and penetrate your protective system. And this is actually wild topic, wide topic, because we are talking about this astral subtle bodies around you, natural ways of protecting yourself, and everyone again has a different structure. And another one is activated, so it can take from several days to years and go through generation. I heard so many stories about it. And first of all, it would be really easy for me to just not pay attention to it, but just hearing so many stories, there is something to it. Whatever you think, whatever you believe, please always be cautious about it. It's not always the case, but there is something in it. So whether it's all again connected to your psychology, subconscious mind, you can look at it from a different perspective. If you don't like this idea about curse, it's just some sort of a pattern around you that goes on, and maybe with the right type of a person, specialist, you can clear it out. I like to think, because of course for me as an author, artist, and having a strong imagination, I like to think that there is something more into it, and also it's easier for me to operate on these subtle planes where I can solve a lot of things this way through my imagination. So the most actually important, oh yeah, I think I didn't tell you about this. I will give you an example. So for example, there was a course that every generation one person was dying in a certain age, and it was always a male. That sort of peculiarity. So the activation was not immediately, but it was always activated to the certain. It's like stick to someone in the family tree. That sort of things. It can also activate at a certain day in the year. So it's also different. So look for that. Patterns. And the most important thing, because I'm going to skip the part how to curse someone, you don't want to know. And of course there are many methods and ways, and we have to really have a self-control, especially about our anger, because every time we wish someone's wrong, it's a sort of a cursing. It's a sort of thing that we can do unconsciously, even if it's maybe not that strong. It can hit someone. So most important thing is how to take it off. And here I will tell something that is very, very unpopular. If you are intuitive, if you work with dreams, if you work with yourself, if you have some knowledge and you know some things, be very careful about going to specialists about it. So I won't tell you something. I would actually tell you something against the whole promotion and marketing. Don't call me, because first of all, you are the one that knows what to do. If you are intuitive, if you see that, if you have information in the dreams, and sure, if you go to someone and you pay a certain money for it, it has to be someone you can really trust. There are a lot of people out there, and If you decide to go to someone, please take reference, recommendations, and see who that really is. Because if you do not have that intuition, it's going to be hard for you to differentiate if this person is really helping you, not just charging you a lot of money. So if you can, do it yourself, and here is how. And the bad news is it's hard to take it off if it was something really strong, really put there for a long time. The good news is it's possible. And if you have trusted friends who do the same work, you can do it with them. In the group there is a certain power, but again, you have to pick your people right. Another now, how to do it, the idea is more about understanding what the course is really, because if it's a wrong wishing, if it's a sort of like Vikings were calling energetic attack, then you already in knowing what it is, you already have the idea how to undo it. There is a recipe in knowing what. So I like to say, I actually wrote this in my book, the Sarah, the priestess I was writing about. She said something like evil plus evil is just simple math. It's two evils. So to undo a course, you need an opposition of that. You cannot revenge, you cannot throw more negativity to it. That's not the way how you will take it off. So the idea is something I will disappoint you right now because it's very simple. It's probably, that's why it's the hardest thing to apply. It's love, compassion, blessing, thankfulness. I would not underestimate the word of blessing, the idea of blessing, because the wrongdoing, wrong wishing, it's a strong, emotionally charged words and actions with something negative. So to balance that, you need equal, actually more, apply the opposite. So if you just think that you are thankful, that's not going to do the work. You need to apply it with really feeling that, with really surrounding yourself, the clearing that, and applying the feeling of it so strongly. And this is the hardest thing to do. And from that reason, if you don't know how to do it yourself, then I do recommend someone that you really trust. You check this person, and they are great people in this world that they do that. A lot of them, they are called shamans, healers, and they will help you. I won't tell you the recommendation here because I'm not going to promote anyone, but the most important thing is to follow your heart and try to apply. If you follow those guidelines and you still think that you maybe are spelled under course or whatever it is, try to do it yourself or within the circle of people that you know. And then if it doesn't work, then start your research carefully. Do not rush with it, that you may encounter someone that can really, really help you. I hope this was entertaining. Let me know if you have any questions about this peculiar topic, and treat it as an entertainment. Do not believe me. We are in the world of magic, imagination, visionary fiction, and I need to tell that hopefully enough. But please leave me a comment. Let me know what shall I tell you more about, what you are interested in, and I will do my best. Thank you. Bye bye. Welcome back. Greetings from Germany, from Joanna. And today it will be a little bit about curses. I'm kind of sort of shortly coming back to that topic about Egyptian curses especially. I even have something to it. Sorry, the good witch sleeping. So that's a little bit thematically to that topic. Some of you are asking why this so-called curses are not leaving me, or I sense some spirits and so on. I will get to that part in a second. And at the very beginning, I will repeat the same thing as always. Whatever I say, please verify and take it a little bit like with the smile of the cat from Alice from Wonderland. Yeah, half, seriously, half with the smile. So there is nothing taboo in hearing about Egyptian curses, and we have a lot in a history already from archaeologists. What happened to some people, some deaths after, let's say, opening the graves, devastating some of it. Well, I cannot say that archaeologists devastated the graves, but in opinion of the ancient people who were marking it, and please do not touch. And if you do touch, something bad will happen. So for that, for them, it was vandalizing their sacred space, their sacred maybe ancestors. So ancient curses are lasting thousands of years, as we know, and this is not a taboo. Why I am so fascinated with that topic, as some of you know, I started to write my series Oracle about starting with ancient Egyptian curse, and as much as I can tell you just a little bit about the plot of it, I cannot reveal much more because I am contracted with American publisher, and if you like to, of course, read more, I invite you to my Amazon and start with the book 1 of the Oracle series. But here I will just tell you that when I started to write, I am the perceiving person, so I see things in my imagination very easily. And the interesting part is that before I do my research, I first start to know as little as possible, because in my case, the less I know, the more clearly I can see in my imagination. Otherwise, I am already influenced by what I know. And after that, for rewriting, then I'm doing my edition, and then I'm Googling, then I'm checking, then I'm coming back to the books about it. And I like to also see which parts of what I saw are agreeing with what some of the historians said, wrote about it, and which parts fit. Some of it, what I saw, I didn't find in the sources. Of course, I can recommend you the Egyptian Book of the Dead. That's the one, number 1. And I didn't read it. I just cruised kind of through it. So if you have a chance to get to that one, that's probably interesting lecture. But recently I encountered interesting work of doctor in philosophy, Sarah Lewis College, and she wrote a paper at the University of Liverpool, The Process of Cursing in Ancient Egypt. And this one is pretty interesting because, as you know, why these curses are lasting such a long time. You know very well from these scripts that it was a specific incantation, it was written, it was a picture, it was a lot of symbolism, it was a number of people who were performing rituals there, and it was a certain place of rituals. They were doing only that one thing there, nothing else was happening there. So if you think in terms of quantum physics and the spiritual quantum field, there is a certain vibration, you know, seat to seat, and you gain more. So the certain, like, you know, like also in the church, you only perform a certain rituals there, so the energy gathers and gets stronger in that particular place. to all that, there was something typical, like a normal, let's say paranormal or witch or some other cultures are doing. So everything is based on intention, feeling, and the words matter. And only by feeling, accessing those three factors, the spell or the curse may work. And it's far easier for people to curse someone or use sort of wrong wishing than to bless someone, because we are very easily provoked by what's happening with our reaction, and a lot of times it's easier. It really takes great attention to be not provoked. And every time you get provoked, because it's human, it's going to happen. We are having human reactions and we emanate this. So it's very good to neutralize this after you leave the hot discussion or so on. But this is not so harmful as conscious wrongdoing, wrong wishing to someone else. And take just this a little bit of wording or wishing wrong someone out of the jealousy, out of the hate every day. So if you are honest with yourself just day by day, and if you collect how many thoughts you have, positive and negative, then of course at the end of the day, if you weigh it, you can see how much you need to neutralize. And this is why some of you are asking, like, okay, I'm blessing, and nothing happens. I'm still having the situation. Or as some of you wrote me about some sort of weird energies are present in your space. With the blessing, there is this other difficulty, because as far as we are triggered by certain emotion, and we can get jealous, we can get furious, angry. It happens. These emotions happen so easily. But to put ourselves in this state, nobody walks all day long, well, unless it's a maybe spiritual master. And to sustain it it takes really attention, because you making a choice every several seconds, every time you're watching something, every time you are conversing with someone. This is enormously challenging. So none of us walks through the street emanating love continuously and joy and bliss. But it's also most of the times very reactionary within us. Somebody says something nice to us, we are smiling. So to maintain this state, it takes some effort, it takes a challenge. So it's hard to bless someone if someone is really hurting us. There is a certain approach how to turn it around. So if we understand why some situation happened to us, it's again this mirroring. Every other person is my mirror of what I'm holding within myself, because if I'm not triggered, if I'm not responding, that means it's not within me. So I am having a certain anger within me if that angers me. If I don't have anger, I would not be triggered, right? So it's the looking at it as a certain mirror, and it's looking at it, why the situation happened, what did I learn, and what good, how I can turn it into something constructive later. Because if you have these answers, it's going to be slightly, it's just the beginning, slightly easier to start transforming it and starting to feel love. I get that also from your messages, and this is fantastic. Someone said something really, really great, how it's happening in a normal life. So somebody said, well, yeah, I forgave that, and this is a line, of course, that I forgave him, her, this stupid, blah, blah, blah. And that, of course, means you didn't forget anything, but we are not conscious. We think we forgave someone or forgotten about something, but it's really not that simple, because it takes this extra spiritual or psychological work of understanding. If we do not understand something, there is no conclusion we can make. There is no conclusion, there is no change. And this is why these difficulties, and it sounds so simple, just keep blessing, just keep emanating love. So I hope I clarify that a little bit, how we can slowly, step by step, get there, and what it takes. It's not that simple, right? But yeah, the more you are putting yourself in this positive mood, the more you are able to do that. Another example I got from someone also wrote me that is very much connected with God and is praying or not praying, or, you know, there were several people like that. But, you know, it's a positive person, everything is cool. And then the line goes, but it is crazy, stupid, so, there's a line of curses. Let this happen and blah, blah. That's a curse. That's a curse. And it's already, you can hear in the tone of the voice, in the emotion. It's pretty free come together. Intention, feeling, thought, word, vibration of the word comes really together. And the next line goes, oh, forgive me, God, for that. Well, it's a little bit of neutralizing, but if you wave it sincerely in your head, in your mind or heart, is that really equal? This neutralizing has to be at least equal if you want to have the 0 point. Otherwise, it may not really work. So, unfortunately, it takes some mastery and great attention. And this is more or less how it works. Like, in the current times, I wish I could say, this is not happening so often, and some of you mentioned, especially people who are doing psychobiology, that there are generation curses. So the same curse is happening in the certain another generation, and it's usually similar. And that's one line. And I think I didn't say about activation time. There is a different activation time for the curse. So some of the people, I wish I could say that 200 years ago people were consciously throwing wrong wishing, but unfortunately what I heard from you, I heard that there are people out there who are consciously doing it right now. I'm not going to comment that. You know what that means, and yeah. So with the wrong wishing, it's usually unconscious, based on the sudden feeling of jealousy. But if someone does this consciously, it can last a little bit longer. It can last for the generation. And now there are two approaches, because there's also a little bit of trick with forgiving. The energies must be equal. So if you just forgive, that's really not balancing anything, because nature likes balance, right? So for example, if we have a couple and one betrayed another, and there is no balancing those energies, I'm not saying that, because everybody needs something else in order to balance it. Some couples say, okay, so maybe if I betray you, then we have equal start. I don't know if some of you maybe watched the TV show The Vikings. I recommend, I like it very much. But there was this character like Gerta there, and she was betrayed by her husband, and she was portrayed as a very strong person, knowing what she wants. And there was this deal she made. She said strictly, okay, you did that, then for that I want this and this and this. So she, in a way, she balanced those energies, but she knew exactly what she wants. So she never came back to that topic again, at least in that TV show. Unless something else happened, but that's you. I'm inviting you to watch that. So with the curses, it has to be also a certain balance. So if something was moved, there is a sort of law of cause and effect there. If you have in this ancient curses incantation, do not remove, because if you remove, then something like this, it's written very nice language, and some of it is even in that work of the process of cursing I mentioned to you. Then it works a little like a consequence. So we know that a number of people died and with not paying attention to those writings. But if someone survived, I don't know it because I didn't find those sources, but maybe you know. If you know, let me know about it. If you read the incantation, what will happen to you in case you do something? What is the price for doing something? You have also the idea how you could reverse, if you believe it, how you could reverse that. What shall be done in order to? Okay, so this was just a little bit about the courses, taking them off a little bit more, and this example about the ancient Egyptian ones, the strongest ones. Share with me what you think, and I think this is it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and looking forward one more time to hearing from you. Bye bye. Hi there, this is to all my friends, especially those not dancing, not stretching, and maybe sometimes you're stuck at your home and you working on your computer too much. I think so. Many of you told me that. So today it will be a little bit different. So I am sitting in a peculiar position for some of you, and my legs are relaxed. You can go from side to side on your sitting bones, and why you will be doing that, or maybe when you're going to be inspired to do so, I will tell you today about curses that you're not supposed to touch, deal with. You're not supposed to do anything with them except of closing them away in a safe place. This is coming from my dream, but why I'm going to do that, to tell you about that, you, whether now or later when you hear to that, or maybe when you work on something in your home, to try this position I am having right now. And sometimes it's good to just relax legs, and as you see my, probably you see or you don't see, but my knees are relaxed, so they go a little bit inside, but you can also stretch different parts of your muscles, your legs, and opening them a little bit outside, or even pick your, now I just have the word in Polish language because I just did a video in Polish language. So pick your feet up, so you're flexing them. I don't know if that is very visible here. And then just relaxing. It's helping you while you work, your brain is functioning different way. And please make sure that your lower back is stretched. I'm going to move a little bit. So this is what's happening. So if you're stretching, make sure that this part is absolutely stretched. And if you have problems to sit up straight like that, it's good to put a pillow under your buttocks so you have all the comfort, because this is philosophy by Joanna. It's a philosophy of a pleasure. So a long time ago, when I got burnt out and I stopped to dance, I started subconsciously, I had no idea I'm doing that, developed this philosophy of pleasure, and that was the way I started to teach that the movement absolutely should be connected with the pleasure, how you feel about it. If it's the other way around, something is wrong, in my opinion. So when you do something and you try to go a little bit forward, and please do not do those bounces, especially breaking your upper neck, because when you do that right here, you can probably hear my speech is slightly blocked. My lower jaw is blocking because I'm blocking also that part, and this is how you get blockages here. So you look down at whatever you're going to do at home, and then your line is absolutely stretched, and you go very slow, you don't bounce. And within maybe a minute, 5 minutes, you are going to realize that you go lower and lower with your body until you reach your elbows on the floor, your hands, and eventually your head. But now I'm going to tell you a dream about what curses you're not supposed to touch, and you're not supposed to do anything about it. So recently I dreamt about 3 papers that they were cursed. So it was an item, and anybody who filled in these forms within a few months was dead. And the voice in the dream said to me that you cannot burn them, because that was my first impulse, that I'm just gonna rip it apart, put it away, or I'm just gonna burn it, because that's what you're supposed to do. Let the fire treat it. So the voice told me to, in the dream, please remember, this is entertainment. This is entertainment, and I'm an author, and I love magic, I love paranormal stories, and I love paranormal subjects. So the voice told me to put it away in a safety and close it so nobody can encounter it. And probably you heard already about those African masks, some of them, or items, artifacts that they were someone brought from another country, they bought it and it was so cool, but then a series of not so pleasant situations started to happen in your home, and it sounded weird, you didn't want to talk about it. Nevertheless, it is happening. So this is this kind of subjects, topics, items, objects that you're not supposed to give it away to someone else or leave it to the garbage so somebody else can take it. Please put it away. You can put it into the ground deep enough and put a warning around them, so the person, if someone encounter it one day, put a warning that this object is cursed, and the person who will open it probably will suffer the consequences of it. I did a video about Egyptian curses, like one of those that are holding very, very long time, for thousands of years. And the history already showed that a lot of archaeologists died digging those mummies, and it was some substance there and something was off. So I'm talking about sort of related things. Whether you believe it or not, you may experience that certain objects are agreeing with you energetically. You feel better by having them in the house, and some, they have this thing like it disturbs you. It brings you something like you're not feeling well when you are around those objects. So this is what I'm talking about. And in the dream, I had also a picture of the stone that is a protective stone in this sort of cases, and it was a larimar, a blue stone from Dominican Republic, and it was said it is a sort of a protection to maybe subconsciously you're never going to approach the items like that. So this may help. So it was my humble dream about it. Now I'm going to show you one more thing. So when you did like 5 minutes every now and then, go back slowly and try to relax your legs so you're not stuck. And you can also massage so your legs or any other parts of your body feel relaxed and you're not stuck in one position. When you feel like it, and at the very, very end, you can also bend down your head, because again, when I'm talking to you, I am a little bit blocking my neck. But at the very end, you touch with your forehead to your lovely carpet, whatever you are, and you just let it rest, just like that, until you can completely feel like you are relaxing. So then breathing, I was talking about breathing in another video, so I'm not going to talk about it right now, but also the slowing down the breathing also help you the quality of relaxation and your stretching. When you go to the sides, one more time, you can relax at the beginning, but before you go to any sides, make sure that you think about line that goes higher than you, and then you are stretching and you're thinking about those lines of your body. So the lower, the hip that goes down to the floor, the hand that goes up, the top of your head goes in another direction. You can also think about lines like one shoulder goes one direction, the other direction, and then you're more feeling the openness, the space. And if you happen to close your eyes sometimes, and please always do both sides, whatever you're working with, if you close your eyes sometimes and feel that stretching, you can play with sensing the room for different parts of your body. So like top of your head, you're imagining how far you have to the ceiling just by imagining it. So from the chest, the same, from your back, your hands, your palms, whatever you choose. So this is something you can play with it. And this is more important to feel that spaciousness and openness in your body than actually touch with your nose to your knee. I'm going to show you, because there was a question about it, and this is not a medical advice. I'm not an instructor of yoga or anything like that, but it's very helpful sometimes when someone suffers from indigestion, swollen up, bloating, and this takes a little bit more time. So you definitely have to lay down, which is a pleasure, in such a position, and you take maybe half of the pillow that I have right now, thick like that, and you put it lower to your back right here. Some of you who feel comfortable with foot to foot, you can keep them together, and just right here close to the lower in your back, you slowly lay down and relax, and of course open your chest. It's also a Gestalt technique too. And some people in a yoga class, I saw them putting kilo or two, or I don't know how much kilos of the sand on their stomach just for relaxing, because here actually sometimes the indigestions comes from cramps in the stomach and you cannot easily digest. You are stressed, or you think about something, or you're sitting in the position that your back cannot be straight, you are cramping, and this is why this is happening a lot of times. Of course, there are thousands of other reasons. When you get out of that position, please do not do violent movements. So as before, you go to the side, head's supposed to go down, careful for your neck, and you roll up nicely, gently up. So you can come back to whatever position you wish to be. Last thing, I'm going to show you self-massage, another pleasant thing on the floor. And some of you, sometimes we don't have easy access, especially in some of the countries, to massages, and some of us really need that. And the most hard thing to touch are the shoulder blades, and it seems like we cannot easily massage those points. So there is a technique, very simple and nice. When you lay down on the floor, on your carpet, you cross your hands like this, put it on the shoulders, you lift a little bit your hips, and you paint number 8 with your shoulders, pushing out a little bit those parts with shoulder blades. And you have a slight movement. You can go down, you can go back, both directions, if you see. And I'm going to show you, hopefully the technical part will work here on this way. So it goes like this, and you lift one arm and another, and go different directions, backwards and front, like that. And that's supposed to help to your back to relax those parts. Of course, there are plenty of other things that if I show you now, we are going to spend another hour. If you want, let me know which are the most interesting ways. What do you need, what your body need. Also, we had these videos about chest. Some people had pain in the chest, and one of that position, that opening position we were showing, also when you stand in the frame of the doors and put your hands up, that also helps to relax, because some of the pain in the chest comes from also cramped muscles and maybe some nerves touching. So these are just the simple ways that you cannot harm yourself. It's pleasant. And you can help yourself before you actually going to have a chance to reach to the massagist, doctor, or anybody you really need. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know. Greeting you warmly until the next time. Bye bye.